Welcome back. So today we've got a bit of a, let's call it a unique starting point for our analysis. Our source material is, well, it's incredibly minimal, really just one line. It's excerpts from British Council Learn English Kids. That's it. And you might be wondering, okay, what kind of deep dive can we possibly do with just a title? It seems thin.
Right. It does seem thin at first. But, it's fascinating how much you can actually start to unpack from even a name like that, especially when it's from an organization people might recognize. That name, British Council Learn English Kids, it's not accidental.
No, it's definitely not random.
Yeah.
It feels very deliberate, like a piece of strategic communication in itself.
Exactly. And understanding how to quickly decode these signals, that's really valuable for you, for anyone navigating information today.
Okay, so let's try and decode it. Let's break down the components. British Council. What does that immediately bring to mind?
Well, straight away, for anyone who knows a bit about international bodies, that name screams official, doesn't it?
Yeah, institutional, something backed, probably aligned with UK government or cultural aims.
Precisely. It suggests credibility, resources, a certain weight. It's not some small startup.
Right. It implies a standard, maybe a specific approach to teaching English, perhaps linked to UK methods.
Definitely. And then you add learn English. That's the core function, crystal clear. Language learning.
Simple enough. But then the really specific part, I think, is adding kids.
Ah, yes, kids. That narrows the focus dramatically.
It tells you immediately this isn't general adult education or advanced studies. It's aimed squarely at children.
And that targeting tells us so much more, doesn't it? It suggests certain methods, probably playful, engaging, age-appropriate stuff. Songs, games, stories, that kind of thing.
Yeah, interactive things. It implies they understand, how kids actually learn language best.
But beyond the methods, think about the strategy. Targeting kids, that's a long-term investment.
Oh, absolutely. You're not just teaching vocabulary for next week's test. You're potentially shaping a whole generation's relationship with the English language.
And by extension, with the culture it represents. It's about building connections, fostering familiarity from a really young age. It's quite strategic.
So the name isn't just describing what it is, it's like a mini manifesto. British Council, Learn English, Kids. Each part adds a layer.
It really does. It communicates the provider, the service, and the specific audience incredibly efficiently. It says a lot about their priorities education as a tool for cultural engagement, starting early.
So looking back at our single-line source, excerpts from British Council Learn English Kids, we've gone from just a name to inferring quite a bit. We've touched on institutional backing, pedagogical style, strategic intent, long-term cultural goals.
All packed into those few words. It shows how powerful naming can be, how organizations use it as a kind of shorthand for their mission and approach. And for you, our listener, being able to spot these cues in titles, in names, it helps you assess resources much faster. Is this relevant? Is it credible? Who is it for?
It's a really useful lens. And it leaves us with a bigger question, perhaps. Thinking about this focused major organizations teaching English specifically to children globally, what does that signal about the future? About how languages and cultures might interact on the world stage in the coming decades?
That's a profound thought, isn't it? Sparked just by looking closely at a title, something to definitely mull over.